Hello students. So in this unit we talk about how to solve systems using elimination method by adding and subtracting. Today I'm going to show you a different method because sometimes systems would not match. For example, you remember when we talk about matching x terms, y, and the numbers, and we had some variable terms with the same exact numbers. Well, here's the case when the numbers are not the same, which is pretty normal. So then we have to use a different method in order to solve those problems. And here is what I have to share with you. So this elimination method, it's called elimination method by multiplying first. Multiplying first is a strategy when we are using to make those numbers equal to each other. And once we get those same numbers equals to each other, then we can add, subtract whatever we need to in order to cancel one term and solve for the other variable. So here's what I'm talking about. If I have system 5x plus 2y equals 16 and another one 3x minus 4y equals 20. Look at the terms. This one has 5, this one has 3. But right here we have 2y and 4y. So you all know that 2 times 2 will give us 4. So it will be easy to multiply by 2 the top one in order to make the numbers matching with y term. So once you figure out which term you want to work with, and you know you need to multiply by 2, next step will be to multiply by 2 this whole thing. When you multiply by 2 every single term, the whole equation, you're not changing the equation at all. The equation stays the same, it's just multiplied all the numbers by 2. But if you don't multiply all the numbers by 2, then you will have totally different equation. That's why it's very important always to wrap up the parentheses around the whole equation and multiply by 2. And you guys know when we have something like that, the most common property we've been talking about this year is distributive property. So we will distribute and we will multiply each one of the terms by 2. So the new system is going to look like this. 2 times 5x will be 10x. 2 times 2y will be plus 4y equals to 2 times 16 is 32. So that will be my top equation. Bottom equation stays the same, nothing changes. 3x minus 4y equals 20. Alright, so now look at this. The y terms we picked at the beginning are exactly the same with opposite sign, so we can just add those and cancel what needs to be. So by adding those, we have 10 plus 3, 13x here, 4y minus 4y cancel, plus 0 equals to 32 plus 20 will be 52. Then we have 13x equals 52. Divide by 13 each side, so x equals 4. And we get first half of the answer, x is 4. Then you can pick either one of those original equations. It doesn't matter again which one. So you can pick the first one, you can pick the second one. Let's say we're gonna work with second one. 3 and x minus 4y equals 20. So I just copy that and I'm using x to substitute up here with number 4. So 3 times 4 minus 4y equals 20. Well, 3 times 4 is 12 minus 4y equals 20. Solving for y, we will subtract 12 from each side. Negative 4y will be equal 8. Divide by negative 4, so y equals negative 2. Negative 2 for y. With that, I will conclude my solution. Alright, so we're gonna do a few more examples. Sorry, I need to sharpen my pencil. We're gonna do a few more examples like this, and I'm pretty sure you would not have any trouble solving. If you know how to add and subtract equations, linear system equations, the only difference today will be to look for those common factors when we multiply the numbers. How do we make them equal in order to cancel them? Alright, so let's take a look at the next example. Next example is 6x plus 5y equals 19, and 2x plus 3y equals 5. So which two x terms or y terms will be easier to multiply by some number to make them equal? It looks like x term, right? Because from 2 to 6 we get when we multiply by 3. So if I multiply by 3 this whole thing, I will be able to cancel x terms. Let's do that. So I'm saying I need to multiply this by 3. And we'll apply distributive property. So I will rewrite the equation. 6x plus 5y equals 19 on the top. In the bottom one, distribute 3 times 2 will give me 6x. 3 times 3y will be plus 9y. And 5 times 3 will be equal to 15. So this is the equation we want to use to eliminate some stuff. So I'm going to just recopy 6x plus 5y equals 19 and 6x plus 9y equals 15. Well, if you look at the terms, those two are the same, but they have the same sign. And we learn if the terms, the numbers have the same sign, we can cancel them, so we need to subtract. We will use elimination subtracting method. So I will subtract this one, subtract this one, subtract this one. 6x minus 6x is 0. 5 minus 9 will be negative 4y equals to 19 minus 15 is 4. We'll divide by negative for each one of those. So y equals negative 1. And of my solution, y is negative 1. We're going to go back to the original equations, and I'm going to pick first equation, 6x plus 5y equals 19. We will substitute y up here for y with negative 1. So 6x plus 5 times no longer y, negative 1, equals 9, is equal to 6x, 5 times negative 1 is negative 5, equals 19, plus 5 on each side. Simply solving the equation, 6x equals 24 divided by 6, so x equals 4. 4 for x, negative 1 for y will be my final solution. And we are done with this example. Okay, well, let's take a look at another one. Number 3 or 2 of the problem will be, we have 6x minus 2y equals 1. Negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 5. Well, I bet by now everybody knows which term we wanna change and multiply by. So if we look at the x terms and y terms and the numbers, the easiest term to work will be x, because again, 2 times 3 will give us 6, and we can equal those numbers right away. So I'm gonna multiply by 3 this whole thing again, and my original or new system will look like this. 6x minus 2y equals 1. Copy the first equation and then apply the distributive property here to multiply and change those numbers. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6x. 3 times 3y is plus 9y equals to negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. So we have those two equations and we want to solve it. I'm going to use that space down here and solve it quickly. 6x minus 6x, we are adding those equations because the two numbers have opposite sign. So it's easy to just cancel and work through. So this is 0. Negative 2 plus 9 will be plus 7y equals 1 minus 15 is negative 14. Well, this is 7y equals negative 14. We'll divide by 7 each side and we'll get y equals negative 2. So for the solution, x and y, I have y negative 2. Now let's use the first equation again, 6x minus 2y equals 1, and substitute for y up here with number negative 2. So the new second equation to solve will be 6x minus 2 times negative 2 equals 1. 6x plus 4 equals 1, minus 4 on each side, 6x is equal negative 3. Divide by 6, so x will be negative 1 half. Negative 1 half will be my final answer here for that problem. Alright, well, please pause the video and rewatch it if you need to. I know once the problem is done, it's kind of a little bit messy work here, so if you need to rewatch all the steps, you know what to do. Just start from the beginning or go back a little bit, pause the video, take your time to understand the steps and move on. I'm going to do another example here, number 4. So what do we see here? We have 2x and 3x, and we have 5y and 10y, and we have 3 and negative 3. So from all those, which two will be a good thing that if we multiply by a number, we will get the other one? So 2 times 1 will be 2. 2 times 2 is 4. This one would not work, right? But look at this one. 5 times 2 will give us 10. So we can multiply this whole thing times 2 in order to make it easier to solve. So the system will look like distributive property. 2 times 2x will be 4x. 2 times 5 will be plus 10y equals 2, and 2 times 3 is 6. The bottom will be 3x plus 10y equals negative 3. So we're not changing the second equation, only the first one. Alright, well, now y terms are the two that we make it equal, but they also have the same sign. So I'm going to subtract this whole thing in order to cancel those two. So when I'm solving this, I'm going to just write it over here. 4x minus 3x will be 1x, or just x. 10 minus 10y will cancel. And then we have 6 minus negative 3. 6 minus negative 3 will give us x is equal to, so equal sign, and 9. So this is x plus 0 equals 9, and what I just wrote here is x equals 9. So the solution, x is 9, y, we want to calculate y. We can substitute in the first equation or second, doesn't matter, let's do second this time. So 3x plus 10y equals negative 3, and we substitute 9 for x here. So 3 times 9 plus 10y equals negative 3. 3 times 9 will be 27 plus 10y equals negative 3. Then we subtract 27 from each side. 10y is equal to negative 30. Divide by 10. This gives me y is negative 3. So x9, y negative 3 will be final answer. Alright, well, one more example, and this will be the very last one. In the very last one, it's slightly different, but would not be hard at all. It may be a little bit challenged, just one more thing to add, but not hard at all. So let's take a look. 7x plus 3y equals negative 12, 2x plus 5y equals 38. Now, if we check x term, 2 times, we can get any whole number to multiply to get 7, right? It's going to be 3.5. We don't want to deal with decimals or fractions, so this would not work. If we look at the next term, 3 and 5, again, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6. So we're talking about multiplying by fraction to get 5, which it's not a good idea. And what we can do here? Well, we can look through 12 and 38 and think if we can do something. If not, here's what we're going to do. You just need to pick x or y term. Doesn't matter which one of those two. And you're going to multiply each one of those equations by the opposite number. So here's what I mean. Let's say we want to work with y term. I'm going to circle this and I say I want to work with this. So what I'm going to do, I will multiply the top one by number 5 and the bottom one by number 3. So I'm flip-flopping, I'm switching. This term here has 3, I multiply the bottom equation by 3. this one has 5 and I multiply the top equation by 5. When I do this, I'm gonna rewrite the whole system again, and I will distribute and multiply the numbers. So 7 times 5 will give us 35x, 5 times 3y will be plus 15y equals to 5 times negative 12 will be negative 70, negative 70, right? No, 60, sorry, negative 60. And then we will do the same thing on the bottom here. So 2 times 3x, 2x times 3 will give us 6x, 3 times 5 will give us plus 15y equals to, and 3 times 83, this will be 114, 114. So now, with doing all those multiplications to both equations, we're getting system with two equations, and their y terms numbers are the same with the same sign. So we're gonna use subtraction elimination method in order to cancel some stuff and solve the problem. So 35 minus 6 will be 29x. 15 minus 15y cancel, this is plus 0 equals negative 60 minus negative 114, we get negative 174. Alright, so we have 29x is equal to negative 174. We'll divide by 29, and let's see what the calculator will say here. I'm gonna use it quickly to calculate those. So we have not 47, this should be 74. 174, 174. Sorry, I copy wrong from here. Okay, so 174 divided by 29, x will be equal to negative 6. So the solution for x is negative 6. For y, we're going to calculate y. So go back to original equations, take one of those two. I'm going to choose the second one, 2x plus 5y equals 38. And we'll substitute x negative 6 back here. So 2 times negative 6 plus 5y equals 38. Solving the equation, 2 times negative 6 is negative 12 plus 5y equals 38. Plus 12 on each side, so 5y is equal 50. Divide by 5, so y equals 10. 10 for y will complete my final answer. Oh, right here. And this is the whole problem. So today we were talking about elimination by multiplying first. So if you can multiply only one equation to make it work, like examples like this, we multiply only one equation to make it work and be able to cancel the terms, you do that and you complete the example. But if you have case like this, when none of those, when you multiply by a number will give you a whole number, then you choose which one of those two terms you want to work with, and you multiply by the opposite. So the top equation will multiply by number 5, which is on the bottom, and the bottom equation will multiply with number 3, which is on the top. You're applying two distributive properties to both equations to simplify, and then you will have your chosen terms from the beginning with the same numbers. Based on that, if they have the same sign or not, you have to decide if you're going to add or subtract, and you will be able to complete the solution. So thank you for watching the video. Have a great day, and I will expect questions in the classroom or online through Schoology discussion board. Thank you. Have a great day.